Hello friends and welcome. My name is Kari and today I'm going to take you along with me as I make some kimchi. Now if you've never made kimchi before, it does not take any special equipment or special cooking skills, but it does require a little bit of patience. So I'm going to take you along with me today as I share with you just some basic tips and tricks that I have found over the years to make this kimchi process very simple and easy and perfect for just the average home cook. So Napa cabbage is generally the cabbage of choice when making kimchi. So I've got a 7 pound here from the garden. I'm going to have to wash this off really well. But for an average recipe to make 1 quart, you're going to need a 2 pound head of Napa cabbage. So I'm going to cut this into 2-inch segments to make cleaning the cabbage much easier. So with kimchi, there are 2 stages. We have the salting stage and the fermenting stage. So similar to sauerkraut, we are going to salt the cabbage, but unlike sauerkraut, we're actually going to discard all of that liquid that comes out of our cabbage. We don't want a watery kimchi. We want a kind of sauce that's going to coat every cabbage leaf. So I popped all of this into some water in my sink, make sure everything is nice and clean, just to rinse it off a couple of times. And after this, we're going to salt it. I generally aim for 1/4 cup of salt for every 2 pounds of cabbage that I have. So here I've got a full cup of salt that I'm going to put on this cabbage and toss it like you would a salad. We're going to let this sit for at least an hour, but I want you to think more about what the lettuce looks like than the time that goes by. So what we're looking for is a cabbage that's going to be nicely wilted down to about 50% of what it was before. Now we make the sauce. This is what I'm going to be using instead of fish sauce. This is a soy alternative. It's coconut aminos. So if you're avoiding soy, this is a good one. But otherwise, you can use fish sauce. You can use soy sauce. You can use water if you don't have any of those, okay? The choices are endless. There are as many different types of kimchi as there are mothers in Korea, so the saying goes. So I'm just going to use some ginger and some garlic and whiz that up with some red pepper flakes for some spice. Keep an eye out on how much flakes that you use because some are going to be spicier than others. So just give it a taste test. But you can also leave that out so you don't have a red kimchi, you have a white kimchi that's not spicy. You can also mix in a pear here for some sweetness. This is what it looks like after about an hour of sitting in that salt. You can see a lot of the water has come out of that lettuce, but it still has a little bit of tension in there. So a trick that I use is to fold over the ribs of the cabbage, and if it folds over really soft without snapping, you know you're ready for the next phase. We're gonna rinse, rinse, rinse. Once we've salted the cabbage, we need to rinse most of that salt off. So you're still gonna have some salt on it, but give it a taste. It should not taste as salty as sauerkraut. It's still gonna have some salt to it, but it's not gonna taste nearly as salty as it did. So let it all strain off really well, and once you've drained off as much water as you can, go ahead and take your sauce and coat the cabbage as well as you can. I recommend wearing some gloves here if you do have the red pepper flakes in here, and then add whatever vegetables you want to add. I have green onions and carrots here, but you can add daikon radishes or even just regular radishes. You can forego the carrots and add parsnips. Make it yours. Make whatever vegetables that sound good to you. We're going to pack these into quart-sized jars, and as you go, press down with your hands so that that juice comes up over your vegetables. So this is very similar to making anything fermented, but especially sauerkraut. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. You want all those air bubbles to get out of the bottom. You want to make it as compact as you can so that we don't have a bunch of air trapped into our bottles. Now you don't have to weigh it down with the fermentation weight, but I do. It just makes my life a lot easier. But you don't have to. You can just make sure you push the vegetables down enough that that brine is going to cover them completely while they ferment. Put this in a cool, dark place for anywhere from 1 to 7 days. Just keep the lid loosely on. Don't tighten it so that all the excess air can escape. And there you have it, a super simple kimchi that anyone can make.